Clinton agreed with their concerns but offered no concrete policy plans. But she says she's ready to go to work.
We need a whole comprehensive plan that I am more than happy to work with you guys on to try to figure out, okay, we know Black Lives Matter. We need to keep saying it so that people accept it.
Joining me now is Angela Rye, political strategist, and Alicia Garza, co-creator of Black Lives Matter. Angela, you first. Do you agree Hillary Clinton was victim blaming, as the activist in the video said, or was she asking him to do with what traditional organizations, not like Black Lives Matters, have done in responding to giving an agenda to a particular politician to follow?
So, Doc, first I just have to tell this sister on your show right now that I am just so proud of the work you all are doing. It is so very important. Historically we have seen that agitation is what moves the needle on so much of this. Now to answer the question, thank you for allowing me to do that. I really think that the conversation was one so emotional on both sides. It's just hard to have that kind of dialogue in that short time frame. And what I think I heard Hillary Clinton saying is, it is so important for you to hold us accountable by telling us what exactly you need. So sure, you can have the philosophical discussion about white supremacy and its role in historically oppressing our folks, or you can have a discussion about, A, we need you to develop this, particular executive order if you are sworn in to become the next president of the United States to end mass incarceration. We want the Clinton Foundation to sponsor a program that says, you know what, we recognize our role from the 90s, and we want to ensure that there is a prisoner reentry program, that you will promise to aid felons who can be re-enfranchised, whatever it is. But developing a clear set of agenda so that people can move the buck forward. You can say Black Lives Matter, and she actually said this to her credit. You can say that, but what will you do to show it? And I think that is the next step in the movement, and I hope that you all will be receptive to that criticism.
So, Ms. Garza, Clinton emphasized legislative goals in Black Lives Matter demands. Do you agree with that approach? Do you agree with the priority? And do you agree with the criticism that has been offered here by Hillary Clinton herself implicitly, and the suggestion by Ms. Rye as well?
Well, first let me say we really appreciate the support that we've received. And I think it's important to understand that Black Lives Matter has had a set of plans since 2013, and those aren't difficult to find. And what's important to understand here is that I do think that there is a level of condescension when we place the responsibility on people who have boots on their neck to then figure out how to solve the problem. What we're looking for here are candidates who can really be activists. Folks who are going to say, we know there are a million organizations and organizers on the ground doing great work. Let's do the legwork to figure out what are the best, boldest, and most innovative policy solutions that we can start to advance. Of course, we're happy to share with her and with others what we think needs to be done. But at the end of the day, there can't be reconciliation without truth. And what I saw in that video were folks from BLM Boston asking Hillary Clinton what changed her mind. She was active in the mass incarceration of black folks. She was active in welfare reform. She was active in many of the issues that are facing black people. And that's not just a criminal justice issue. We've had 5 black trans women who were murdered this week. We want to hear from her. What would you do as president to make sure that black trans women stop being killed? What would you do as president to make sure that there is parity, not just 77 cents to every dollar that a white man makes, but black women are making 64 cents to every dollar that a white man makes and every 77 cents that a black woman or that a white woman makes. So we need to be really clear here that it's important not just for activists on the ground to be giving policy solutions, but we also want to see leadership from some of these candidates. We want to see your plan, your proposal. What do you think needs to be done in order for black lives to matter in this country?
Ms. Rye, your response?
Sure. I think that all of that is 100%. I also think, given the fact that I am a strategist and this is the space in which I operate, I would just push back and say, most often, it's not the role of a politician to serve as an activist, but thank God, many of them, I used to work for the Congressional Black Caucus, to have activists in their kitchen cabinet as advisors telling them what they should do. If you are able to get in a room with them where you can give them the prescription for solving these issues, I would go for it. That means that our folks are better off. That means that freedom becomes real for us. And so the way in which we do that is if we have ideas, we've got to share them. And I appreciate you, sister, saying that the ideas are out there. I've not seen them. Some of the things that have been sent to me online, on Twitter, or wherever else are broader prescriptions, but they're not clear about who does what. They're not clear about how a legislator would move this or how a president would move this. And so I just think that some of those prescriptions are very, very important, and I think would be supportive in the movement. So hopefully, again, you can appreciate that. But I think that the conversation was excellent. It just was not enough time. And it's not realistic to think that Black Lives Matter, whatever the chapter, can solve white supremacy in one conversation. It's a huge conversation that needs to take place throughout kitchens across this country, throughout rallies and debates and everywhere else. We need to make sure that this is on the agenda, but we also need to make sure that we're ready to present solutions.
Ms. Garza, do you think that in light of that argument that it might be strategically wise for the Black Lives Matter movements, as they are decentralized, of course, but around the country with coordination, to articulate those legislative demands explicitly and clearly to these candidates to then hold them accountable to measurable goals and gains that have been expressed by your movement?
Sure. And again, I want to re-emphasize that those demands have been present since 2013. We've called for there to be tracking and accountability at the federal level for killings and murders, for example. These things are not difficult to find. And where I think we share common ground is that we both believe that it's important for folks to be working together to bring the best solutions to the table. But in the same way that folks are saying politicians aren't activists, activists aren't politicians.
That's
and
right.
what we want to do in this moment is actually transform the way that our democracy works. Why shouldn't we have a president who's going to go out there and do the legwork necessary to make sure that they have the best platform and not depend on the folks who are saying to you, hey, we have ideas about what we want to see happen.
Let me intervene right here. Let me ask you, though, would it have been helpful for those young people who met with Hillary Clinton with the precious time they had to not depend upon her to find it? But look, let me give it to you right now. This is what we want. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It's out there, but let me, in your face, while I have this opportunity face to face with you, push you hard, which the Black Lives Matter movement has brilliantly done through the politics of disruption, but also now the articulation of a particular set of legislative demands. While they're in her face, don't let her off the hook and say 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. This is what we want. Strategically, might that make a difference?
But Doc,
here's what I heard in the video. Excuse me for 1 second. Here's what I heard in the video. What I heard in the video were people who were vetting a candidate, and they were asking her a very direct question. And that direct question was, what has changed? Because in the past, you have supported policies that have killed and jailed Black people. And the fact that that question could not be answered directly is something that people should pay attention to.
All right.
We have 5 months left till the primaries. We have a year left to the election. And of course, there will be several conversations where we are sitting down and saying, this is what we want to see. But also, we want to know, are you for real? And to be honest with you, this question about incarceration, this question about welfare reform, this question about economic inequality, she has participated in many of the ways in which Black people are subjugated today. And so Black people do have a right to ask her what has changed, why has she changed her mind.
We've got to go now.